This is the AYN or Ayn, or however you want to pronounce it, Odin 2. I finally bit the bullet, I finally took the plunge and purchased one. Now this is the Pro model with the 12 gigabytes of RAM. I did want the base model because, as far as most testing has shown, there's not really much reason to get the Pro or the Max, which is the even more extreme version, as now that we have native code execution for the Nintendo Switch emulation, this really does just chomp up everything, and the only limit to the emulation is Android's emulation itself. Everything Android can emulate, this thing has the power to emulate. So this retailed at $369, and that is a good deal. However, you have to bear in mind with Chinese products, it's $369 plus it was I bought a screen texture for $6, which naturally I completely ruined, absolutely ruined it. I spent 40 minutes trying to get it on, and it's one of the easier ones to apply from what I was reading. I could not get it on without getting dust under there or slightly out of position, and I was just worried about damaging the device. In the end, I just removed it, so I was getting very frustrated. I also picked up the case, $12. I think that is a great buy. I have cases for all my devices, and for example with my Ambinic RG35XX Plus, I bought that the other day. It didn't come with a case, so I bought a case from Amazon, and the case I bought from Amazon was £15 on a $60 device, $70 device, which is really not a good deal, but I just need my stuff to be protected. Are you investing money in these things, and if you do end up keeping them for a long while, or if you end up reselling them, you want to be in the best condition they can be. So I didn't think there'd be anything at $12 or around £9 which could compete with this case, and it's great. It's a hard case. It's still fairly compact, holds the device securely. Yeah, it's decent looking as well. So yeah, that was $12, and then shipping was $29. So in total it came to $416, which equates to about 331 English pounds, which is of course a lot of money. However, you are getting the Snapdragon Gen 2 processor, which is I think now the second best processor you can get in a Android device, because they've now got the Gen 3. But yeah, it's still a very good bit of kit, and I think for that money, as much as it represents a decent deal for what you get. Now I am in the middle of a boss battle on Persona 3, which let's be honest, I'm losing. And this is the same Persona 3 file that you've seen on me playing on my Steam Deck, that you see me playing on my Retroid Pocket 2S. Now this is PS2 emulation, which it's running at 2.5 times native resolution, which looks decent, and battery life is really good. I'm going to, because I have just saved, I'm going to just drop out of the game quickly and just nip to here. Now this is it's Android device. You can install your apps on the Play Store, and Android has some positives and some negatives. You've got easy access to all your files and your Google Drive and the Android emulators. You're not locked into things like you would be with a more restrictive UI, OS, sorry. However, you do have to bear in mind that this then essentially is like a phone, and that can be a little bit less console-like than perhaps a Linux-based system. However, whereas now I've got Digitio installed here, and on my Retroid Pocket 2S, I set it as my native homepage, so that I could just, when I loaded up, I went straight into there so I could play my games. because I didn't like being in the Retroid Pocket 2S menus. I didn't think it felt particularly console-y, and I felt like I needed to use this. Whereas, strangely, despite also being Android, I barely go into Daijisho on here. I just open up the emulators. I'm not sure why that is. Not sure why this feels more console-y, because it shouldn't do. Anyway, I'm running GameCube here at 3 times resolution. So let's just show you a bit of this, and obviously the Odin 2 is more than capable of running GameCube. GameCube is not that difficult system to emulate nowadays. It's crazy how far I've come in the last couple of years. So let's just go into the Foundry. Now, I have got GameCube on here, I've got Dreamcast on here, PS2, and a certain modern Nintendo console, which I definitely do not have on here, I've never actually invoked the wrath of the Nintendo Ninjas. I don't intend to do that here, so I will discuss it in vague terms, but let's say the performance there is decent. A friend of mine has 28 games that he has transferred from his ROM carts, and of those 28, the Odin 2 has ran 26 of them. 2 of them have had major issues. Hogwarts Legacy does not, it will load the start of the menus but crash before you even get to the opening menu. It will just sort of show the title cards and it will crash. And Red Dead Redemption 1, which is a recent port. That, again, by the way, I'd like to explain that when I play these games, don't use me as some kind of like gaming oracle. As you can see, I'm not a very good gamer. But as you can see, we're playing at 3 times resolution. It looks clear, it looks crisp. There's no slowdown. The games just run, and they look really good. GameCube at 3 times resolution looks really good. Yeah, so Red Dead Redemption, a friend of mine got excited when the opening video began to load. It went past the menus, it went to the opening video. Sadly, that is when, I think we're still running so we're actually, yeah, so that is actually pretty crazy if you think about it. We were still running PS2 in the background, the app was still open, whilst we were playing GameCube at 3 times resolution without any stutters. Pretty impressive. So yeah, Red Dead Redemption crashes at the opening video, which is a shame. The other 26 games, about 20 of them run flawlessly, literally no issues whatsoever. And 3 or 4 of them, such as Astral Chain and the other one that my friend had an issue with, Bayonetta, run with some slight frame drops, but popular main titles such as, so they ran at around about between 18 and 25 frames a second. Whether or not that's playable is down to you. I personally probably wouldn't enjoy that, but you can see it's getting there, and maybe in a month or two progress we made to improve that. But yeah, so the other games on there, such as major titles of the variety where you collect and battle pocket monsters, and ones where you rescue a princess who has the same name as one of the aunts of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, they ran decent. Yeah, they ran fine. You'll get the occasional hiccup on the tiers of the However, nothing really major to worry about. Certainly enjoyable, certainly playable from my perspective. Yeah, and here we are. We're now playing Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact, which is one of the more demanding Android games, and now I enjoy this game. However, one of the major problems with Genshin Impact is run away. That for whatever strange reason, despite it having cloud saves shared between PC and your Android device, so it's great to pick up and play, it doesn't actually allow you to use controllers with Android. It allows you to use controllers with iOS, which is odd, because iOS is not the sort of platform you necessarily think of when it comes to mobile gaming. But yeah, I'm just running away, by the way. Just running away, run away. Yeah, so what you actually have is quite handy on the Odin is some button mapping software, which is going to be difficult to open because I'm playing a touchscreen game. But yes, this key adapter here, which is very useful and allowed me to assign on screen. So for example, this joystick is now working. This one is the only thing that's a bit flaky. The camera movement, I mean, you can move the camera, but it's not brilliant. So the camera is moving. Yeah, I've lost my character there. But yeah, everything else works fine. There's button mapping, and the game is quite pleasant. The camera movement is an issue because you might just find yourself ending up using your thumb, which isn't the end of the world actually. But I would rather just have that seamless touchscreen, seamless control support, which this game doesn't have. Okay, and now we're running this. We're getting 51 degrees temp, and it's running at 38%, 35% CPU, 43% memory, and the game is actually set to, I believe, I set this to quite high settings. And anyone that's played this will know that it's actually a very demanding game. Yeah, I've got this set on the highest settings at 60 frame lock. Highest settings, it's saying it's overclocked and it gives you performance warnings. However, I've not had any dips myself. That said, I've not got into many massive combats, but as you can see, Genshin Impact is a pretty game at these high settings. Okay, so that's Genshin Impact, and again, as I say, we were playing that, and we shouldn't be doing this, but we're playing that with PS2 still running in the background. That's not the smartest move. And lastly, I will just go, and I've shown you, obviously, now this is the app I was discussing a minute ago, so most of the games I have on there work. I've loaded up some PS1, which you can run at 4 or 5x. Got a good amount of Dreamcast on here, though I think I'll probably stick to playing Dreamcast on other systems, just because it doesn't. I'd rather have this where I'm playing something which is worthwhile taxing to it. Just leave that. And we've got Gamepass as well. And obviously you have to pay for Gamepass, but the Gamepass experience is good. It's let's play a bit of the Persona 3 Reload. It's better than it is on Steam Deck, as you'd expect, because this is actually an Android app rather than a workaround using a desktop browser. And yeah. Now I'm actually, as you see, I'm playing Persona 3 elsewhere, so yes. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm not really going to be playing the remake anyway, but I may as well just have a little jam on it because it's part of the Game Pass. Not sure if it's something that I would. I don't think I'm handsome. Yeah, I'm not sure if I would pay £50 for this game, but okay, sure. I'll go to bed then. Yes, yes. Yeah, so it's a decent game, and let's see, as you can see, Gamepass runs flawlessly. And obviously that will depend on whether you actually have Gamepass and your internet. Tekiba, oh, I just got your curry, that's fine. Come in. I'm gonna quit that. Now the next thing to show is a lot of people probably ask, hey, haven't you been banging on about the Steam Deck OLED and how awesome you believe the Steam Deck OLED is? And yeah, you're right, I have. I love my Steam Deck OLED. Lucky enough, well, I say lucky enough, I've sold a lot of Warhammer recently, and I've managed to accrue the funds to spend on, this is something I do quite often, spend on something I enjoy. So this Steam Deck OLED, and this is the Odin 2. Now if I just change my camera angle, let's see, there's a significant size difference between the two. However, there's not a massive difference when it comes to screen size. See, the screen is slightly larger on the Steam Deck, and it's a 16:10 rather than 16:9 ratio. The actual device itself is just a lot larger. Now, this isn't a problem for me, as you've seen before, I do have quite large hands, so the Steam Deck's fine in my hands. However, this also suits. Now, I think the next question would be, why, since you have a Steam Deck OLED, which can play everything that the Odin 2 can play, and more, because it can play PC, and it can play things like Wii U and Xbox, which are not available on Android as we speak. As you can see, I'm emulating a game which is not able to emulate on Android currently. Let's just pop into the home menu, into the library. I've actually got a couple of Xbox games on here, Xbox 360 games, which I'm enjoying and are playing perfectly. I need to play this before I can play Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, which is I currently have on the Odin 2, but this is the not the prequel, this is the game before, so I need to get that out of the way. Yeah, I mean, essentially, this is a cop-out, but there is no good answer as to why someone would need the Odin 2 and the Steam Deck OLED. It's a little bit smaller, I like that. It's a bit more comfortable. No, not more comfortable, no. The OLED is very comfortable. It's more convenient to carry around with you, to take out. It's got a great battery, but the Steam Deck OLED also has a great battery, especially doing this kind of level of emulation. It's got a good screen, but the Steam Deck OLED has a brilliant screen. There isn't a compelling reason other than that I would say I've bought both. I'm happy with buying both. I enjoy, I've been playing this as, it reminds me a lot of my old Switch Lite. It's a very nice form factor, it's very convenient sized, and I do enjoy being able to carry around with me easily, and yeah, it's just fun and pleasant to play. But yeah, for a compelling reason as to why you should do what I've done, which is have a Steam Deck OLED and an Odin 2, no, I really can't tell you. And which of the two would I have if I could only have one? It would be the Steam Deck OLED. The size of the Steam Deck OLED, which is something that a lot of people complain about, is not a problem for me. the price of Steam OLED, yes, it is more expensive than the Odin 2. I'll definitely agree on that. But yeah, if I had one, it'd be Steam OLED. I'm lucky enough that I have both, and I'm happy to own both. I can't see myself selling either. Unlike the Retroid Pocket 2S, which I am currently selling, because to me, this does my PC and top-end emulation. This is the best that Android can do. This is the best Android emulation device, peak Android. This, to me, I know people say, oh, it's not as powerful as some of the other ones. This, to me, is peak handheld PC, peak Android. I also, to add into the mix, as I've alluded to, I have a Anbernic RG35XX, which to me is peak mini vertical handheld. So I feel like I've covered all my bases there. So Anbernic RG35XX, the Odin 2, and then Steam Deck OLED. It's essentially, I wanted to have the best of each of what I consider 3 distinct classes, and it is a luxury. And this is a very silly thing to be talking about in a world where so people have so little, but I appreciate that fully. So yeah, if I had to have one, Steam Deck OLED. However, I do not regret getting this. It is a great device. I'm having so much fun with it right now. Maybe in 6 months' time I'll make another review where I say, oh, I can't stand it, I'll get rid of it. But that's just me. I'm a very flippant kind of person. But yeah, I enjoy this device. It's got a great screen, great audio, it's good size. It's got its own onboard cooling. It's got a fan and cooling here, vents. I probably should spend more time actually reviewing the kit. It feels like a first-party device. If this was made by Nintendo, you would not be surprised. Obviously it's not, but if you were to buy this, if you go to somebody who didn't know and said, oh, this is a new Switch, and they played it, held it in their hands and went, yeah, this is decent, I like this. It's, yeah, unlike a lot of Chinese emulators that feel a bit cheap, a bit like kids' toys, it feels like a very premium device, which it should do at £330. But yeah, this is peak Android. Thank you for watching. I'm Eerie Fox Dan. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/EerieFoxDan. And again, yeah, thank you for watching. It's been a very long video. If you've got this far, then, I don't know, please pop the word chimpanzee in the credits. In the comments. And you will win absolutely nothing, but I will be assured that at least one person has watched 23 minutes of me talking about the Odin 2. Thank you for watching.